Welcome to the Master Passive Income Show. My name is Dustin Heiner, and I'm here to help you learn how to quit that JOB, that just overbroke job, by investing in real estate so you never ever have to work a job again. Today, I am super blessed to have on two amazing investors. They're growing their business. They're doing a fantastic job. Sean and Roberta Fontaine on the call with me. Hey, Sean, Roberta, thank you so much for being here with me.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Man, this is so great to have you guys on. Now, we've been working together. I've been coaching you for a little over a year. Actually, no, it's probably been about a year and a half now. And seeing you guys from when you first started, and then also, Sean, you being a little leery on, like, do I really want to do this, to where you are now. I mean,
Right.
I'm seeing you guys are being so just really encouraging to me because, you know, people that are normal, regular, everyday people like us, it's so much fun when we are, you know, little people get to buy real estate and get to be able to, you know, hopefully change our lives. So tell us a little bit about you guys and what really got you guys started and wanting to invest in real estate.
You want to go? You want me to go?
You go.
Well, I wasn't initially trying to get into real estate. That was something I thought that was foreign to me. I was like, this is something that only people with lots of money do, bankers, investors, nothing that, you know, a 9 to 5 guy can do. So that was like the furthest thing from my mind. So to kind of backtrack a little bit, let's go into 2020 pandemic. My father had just passed away, and we were at that time living in an apartment, paycheck to paycheck.
Renters.
Renters. I worked for a utility company out here in Southern California. Make pretty decent money, but as a lot of people know, California is not a cheap state to live in. It's very expensive, and we were paying like what, 2,200
At the time.
at the time, like 2,200 for a rent for a 2-bedroom apartment. And my question all the time was, where's my money? Where's my money? Like, where's all my money going? Because I make decent money, and me and my wife had agreed for her to stay home to homeschool her kids, so she wasn't working. So I was able to support her family, but at the same time, it's like, where's all my money going? Groceries, everything. And so that was like always a lingering thing in the back of my mind. So 2020 happened, pandemic happened. I was able to take some time off of work because at that time nobody knew what was going on. So our job was like, you know, if you want to take some time, you know, if anybody has any underlying conditions, you can stay home for safety reasons. My mother-in-law would live with us. We all have like asthma and respiratory problems. So I was like, okay, I'll stay home, which in a way was a blessing because, as I had mentioned before, my dad had just passed away. So now my dad has this house and all these things that we need to take care of. So that allowed me to take care of like my dad's home, clean it out, take care of whatever financial issues he still had pending and whatnot. And it was a rough time for us. You know, spiritually, physically, mentally, it was just a wear on us. And then it's kind of, I'm going to get a little personal here. It started kind of affecting our marriage a little bit.
Yep.
So we were kind of in a rough spot, but now we have this house that's mine now, but we had to go through all the legal proceedings because my dad didn't have a living trust. He didn't have a will. So we had to go through the probate, and that was a hassle. So we were kind of trying to figure things out. Like, where do we go from here? I didn't want to work until I'm 70. So we had those types of discussions. That was just something that we've always talked about.
Yeah, but also when we were going through, you know, the rough spots with his dad, we started looking into his house, like maybe we could refinance his house and have him move in with us. So we started looking to real estate for personal reasons. And with that, the first thing I realized, the tax benefits to not get out of the house, because we thought, let's sell the house and buy a different house. So we're like, oh no, that would be like foolish to do, you know, let's try to have him refi. So I started looking to that. So after he passed away, I started looking into more of it because we inherited the house, even though the road was long until the probate was done. But at the beginning, I started like, okay, let me look into this a little further because this house has so much equity.
Yeah, it was
And
almost paid off. And then we were grandfathered into my dad's mortgage, which was around $730 a month.
yeah.
Well, on top of that, you have the 1030, not 10, it's in California, Proposition 13, that the tax base gets transferred, which is amazing. That's still the low tax rate. So good for you on that.
Yeah, so we went from paying $2,200 a month to only $730. So I'm like, oh, there's my paycheck. So it was pretty cool. So so let's kind of fast forward a little bit. So we ended up keeping the house, and then Roberta started doing some digging. So around July, she found you, and she started, and you know, kind of doing her research, and she kind of showed me.
Yeah, I found your like one of your first videos that you had, like the free courses. I think it was like 2 videos. And I was like, this is amazing. It's like I found a treasure or something. I was like, Shawnee, check this out.
So like she would tell me as I'd go to work, and then I was like, yeah, okay, you know, whatever. And you know, fast forward a little bit more, she got in contact with you, and then she set up like a one-on-one, I guess, like an introductory meeting with you. And I kind of caught the tail end of that when I was at work. I think I was on my lunch break, and I kind of talked to you briefly for a little bit, and then I guess from there, we just started doing more research into what real estate investing was all about. I was still kind of skeptic about it. I was like, how do you buy a house in another state where you don't live?
Yeah.
You know?
Because we're like, there's no way we're going to buy anything in California. So we're going to get ready to invest out of state.
And I've heard and seen people do it, but I'm like, that's just like, that's crazy. Like, how do you do that? You're not even there. You're not even there at the property. Like, how does this work?
Yeah.
But yeah, she kind of introduced me to your program, and we started watching some videos, and the skepticism was still there. I was still a little, you know, like, I don't know if I want to pull the trigger on this. I'm just scared. Like, what if this doesn't work? Because now I think, did the money come through already or no?
No, it took like a year.
No, it didn't.
Like attending to the, but you know, I just want to say, like, our first meeting with you, Dustin, I was just so blown away because I really saw that you truly cared for your students. Because I think you're like, okay, well, I'm not gonna let you be part of my program if you don't have your life together, pretty much. And I really appreciate that, and that's something I would carry over, you know, like, as if people come to us in the future to ask for any advice for anything, like, I want to make sure that they, you know, their stuff is in place. And that time was such a blessing too. Like, even though we had to wait so long for the probate to go through, then the refi, it was just like so much time went by. But we were able to work in our spiritual walk and our marriage. And by the time that we were ready, it was so sweet.
It was perfect timing.
Yeah, it was the perfect timing. Yeah.
Praise the Lord. And I remember having to really say, well, you guys aren't ready. It's never easy to say that, but at the same time, you guys took action too. I gave you guys, okay, let's start. These are some things that you need to do in your life to get it to where you can invest. You guys really just worked hard. And that's what I was really impressed at, how hard you guys both worked at it. And then with that, you know, you joined the Real Estate Wealth Builders membership that we have. And so that membership helped you be around other people that encourage you and everything. And then having you guys be a part of that, and then coming to RubeCon as well, the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference. That was so fun, getting to hang out with you guys in person. So how, now getting that first property, was it after RubeCon? Was it before RubeCon? I can't really remember exactly the timeline.
It was right after.
Right after. We were waiting for RubeCon. I was like, okay, let's go to RubeCon and kind of check out the other speakers and see if we're led any other direction, you know. So yeah, but we were ready, but we're waiting.
And that's what did it for me. After being there and meeting you guys in person and just seeing all the speakers, I was like, I'm in, I'm sold. And then a motivation for me is like, I can actually have a means to quit my job. And as I'm looking at your shirt, we actually have 2 of those shirts, but I can't wear it yet because we're not there yet.
The successfully unemployed shirts, absolutely.
Yes, I'm waiting to put it on, but I'm like, this is doable. And it made me want to like buy like 10 properties in 1 month. I'm just like, I want to do that. I want to do it, you know? But
when you're getting around other people that have done it before, and as well as that are genuine, that's what I loved about the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference. I brought my friends, all of the expert friends, and curated them. Basically, there are some people I didn't invite, but there are lots of people that I did, as far as being speakers, bringing us all together, just really seeing what's out there, that it's possible, that there's more than just one way, but at the same time, you need to be around a group of, or a community, or you need to have people around you that's going to encourage you to build you up, because doing it alone, like I did it alone, and it was tough. It was really, really hard, but I have that personality. I have a driven personality. I just don't give up. That's just how I am, man. I'm so glad now that we have something like this. Now, talk to us about right after you got getting out of Rubicon, you get all excited. You guys took action right away. Sometimes you go to a conference or you go to a retreat or something. You're all pumped up for the next 2 or 3 days, and it kind of like life starts getting back into a swing of things, and life gets in the way. So, but you guys took action. You guys got your first property. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I think we got our first property like a month or so after.
Yeah,
it was about a month. And then we got our second one like 2 months after that, I think.
Yeah,
and one amazing
July.
Yeah. One amazing thing is also you were utilizing the home equity that you have in that property, but we don't just take it out to buy a car. I mean, that'd be wasting money. You're paying interest on it. What we do.
Talked about that, yeah. I wanted to,
we
because a lot
take
of
that
people
money to build a business.
Yeah, exactly. And we prayed about it too. We were like, we've never had this much money in our hands before. And it's like, what do we do? Like, I want to do the right thing. You know, I don't want to just spend it frivolously on, like you said, like a new car, even though I wanted a new car, because we did need a new car.
Yeah.
And we ended up.
I remember talking about that with you guys.
It off, but it's like, what do we do? We want to, you know, be responsible and good stewards of what we're given. And so we're like, yeah, let's, you know, look at property and be wise about it, you know, and taking all your advice. And
I remember you have a video that says like, if you want to buy a new car, buy a property that will pay for the car payment.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because you start making that money that comes in every single month. You can get a lease or you know, buy a car with a mortgage, or a car note on it, and use that money from that property to pay off that car note. It's such a great way to do it. Now, you guys went from one property quickly to the second one. That's what I love seeing. Like all of my students, usually once that first property comes, it's like the dam broke, and then everything else is like, my goodness, how do I get more?
Yeah,
exactly. It's like a high almost. It's like I want more. Like, because then I realized like this isn't hard. This isn't foreign. This isn't just for wealthy people or bankers or whoever. This is fair game. Anybody can do this.
So talk to us about that first property. You mind sharing where it's located and what type of passive income that you're getting on that property?
It was, we paid cash out for it. So we bought it, you know, straight out, no mortgage.
Yeah. It was cash.
How much was it? It was
$52,600. You were the one who said like, give them the weird numbers.
And it had
renters. Because you guys captured equity. You guys bought it for lower than it's worth.
Yeah. And then we had renters in it already, which made it a little easier too.
Yeah, so we didn't have to deal with, you know, like setting up the property, which is like, okay, great, but I do want the experience too. Doing it
too. So before our first property, it was kind of, you know, not an easy one, but it was just, we didn't have to go through some of those hurdles of trying to find renters and whatnot. So that made it easier for us.
Yeah, so, there were some nuances in that, like in the coaching, we're trying to help you guys in getting that property with a tenant in there, making sure you get the security deposit, making sure when you close that you're closing where you have a lot more month where you get prorated rents from the seller. There's so many little nuances, but you guys navigated that really, really well. What city is that in?
That's in Canton, right? Canton, Ohio, which isn't too far from the Hall of Fame. I think it's maybe about 15, 20 minutes.
The Football Hall of Fame.
Football Hall of Fame that they just built.
Yeah.
So it's a good area.
Are you guys planning on refinancing and pulling that cash out, or what are you guys planning on doing with that one?
Yeah, that's the plan now.
We're in the process of that right now, because now we're starting to get to the place where, you know, the cash is getting squeezed. So we have to start refinancing and put it into another property. So for our third one, for sure, we're going to refi it. We're already in the process.
And it feels good not owning a mortgage on it, but then it's just like, well, there's just money sitting there that we could use.
Yeah.
So it's like, why not use that, you know, equity and get more property?
and make more money from the next property. 100%. That's how I literally built my business, was recycling that money by refinancing it, cash out, and doing a home equity line of credit, like doing so many things to keep getting that money back to then buy the next property, which is terrific. Now, from that, you also got, so this was a long-term, you also have a short-term property, which we love here at Master Passive Income. We love buy and hold. We buy and hold the properties for a long time. Now, they could be long-term tenants, mid-term, like traveling nurses, CEOs, and stuff like that, but also short-term, like Airbnb. Talk to us about the Airbnb property, because that, you guys even flew out there. You guys made sure it was all staged right and everything, and you're getting your super host now, which is awesome. But talk to us about that.
Yes, we are. Super host. Yeah, so like any story, I mean, I'm not gonna paint a perfect, pretty picture, because there was some drama with this one, which people will run into issues. So hopefully our experience can be someone else's learning experience. So so this Airbnb we bought, and it's right on the lake, Portage Lakes in New Franklin, which is, I guess,
borderline with Akron.
Akron.
Yeah. So it's all in the same
really
area.
nice area. So it's like 3 houses from the lakefront, which is really nice. So we looked into some contractors and some painters, and it was just kind of a nightmare, because we didn't do our due diligence in a sense.
The lesson learned here was not to rush, because it was like, I wanted this staged right before our first mortgage, check is, we have to pay for it. So it's like trying to, save like $1,000,
squeeze it in a short amount of time.
We went to people that we shouldn't have hired. And so it's like, you know what, it's okay next time. And then Sean was like, oh man, this is like a trip. And I was like, I'm ready to do it again. Because now mistakes, we're not gonna make the same mistakes again, and we're ready to go.
Yeah, so we kind of ran into some issues, and then we had some other expenses that we didn't know that were going to happen, so we ended up paying a lot more than we wanted to. So this almost, I mean, it basically turned into a rehab, this home. So that being said, it turned out beautiful now. I mean, so we got, I think, a lot of our money back already.
So with that, the first property, how much do you make in passive income from the first property being long-term, and then the short-term property? You mind sharing us both on those?
Sure.
No, not at all. The first one, because it's like all paid for. I mean, property taxes in Canton at $300 a year.
Yeah.
I'm like, when I started looking at stuff like that, and you see 5,000, 7,000 here in California.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe it's 300 a month. Like I'm thinking, it's like a year. So it's like, to me, like that was like what's it called, the slum dunk.
Yeah, and a lot of people, our friends, are like, why are you guys picking Ohio? Like, why Ohio? And then we tell them why. Well, because 1, the houses are cheaper. 2, the property taxes are cheaper. And 3, they're owner friendly when it comes to,
landlord laws. Absolutely.
If we need to, not that we want to kick somebody out, but if there's issues with a tenant, the laws.
You have rights too as a landlord.
Yeah.
But that one, it's about 700 cash flow, because we have so little expenses with that one. The second one right now, I would say we're about $1,000 cash flow, but because it's the low season. And, like, for example, in December, it's going to be super low season. Like, it was like our busiest
season.
Like we made more than $4,000 in 1 month, just in December alone. And so I was like, well, okay, I can't wait to see what July is going to bring.
Summer's going to be, especially with preseason football, because
it's going to be great.
When we were there in August, they actually had a preseason game there, which my team, the Raiders, were actually playing at the Hall of Fame. So we know it's going to bring in customers.
They have.
Plus, they have like the Strongman Challenge, I think, something like that.
Oh yes, yep.
Tough Man. They have a lot of things going on.
And yeah, for short-term properties, you don't need to be in Hawaii or like some fancy resorts.
Exactly.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. RubeCon was, again, because we went there and we attended Kirby Atwell's. I think he was recently on your show.
Yep.
his
Presentation.
presentation, and just blew my mind, just to think that little workman areas, where you make like $100 to $200 a night, on an Airbnb, gives you so much more return on your investment than if you were to buy like $1 million piece. Yeah,
absolutely.
And the people, the people that want to stay there are like people who are in town for like family, family things. What was the other one? A wedding,
funerals,
So
everything family related, or sometimes they have like, they don't want to be into somebody's house, like, so they want their privacy.
yeah, so they're close to family. So instead of staying at their families, they rent our place, and
you're not getting like college kids that are coming and just trashing the place, hopefully, and you're more families.
Right.
We love at long-term properties to have families, and if you could do that for short-term properties as too, you get them hopefully a little more respectful.
Yeah, the property came with a bar. So I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna, advertise this as an actual bar.
Yeah, we're not gonna cater to the crowd. So we turned into a coffee and tea bar.
Yes. Hot cocoa.
Very smart. Yeah.
So we provide that for our guests. So we have, when they get there, they got like the whole coffee section and tea section,
and
I love it.
The plight that we had to go through, something beautiful happened because we met so many great people. Now we have people there are our eyes, our feet, and we can really trust them, and we're so glad to have them.
So it was a blessing in disguise too.
Yeah.
And well, you built the business first. Like you now obviously there's little bumps along the way, but you built the business, and then now it's able to run itself. Now with that long-term property too, imagine that's $700 a month in passive income. That's a lot of money. That's $8,400 a year. That's $8,400 a year. Now imagine buying a house for $50,000 and getting $84,000 every single year. I mean, shoot, in 6 years, it's going to be all your money back in your pocket. Now, if we pull the cash out, now we don't necessarily want to do that. Now, if you can, you can. But why not pull the cash out, still make passive income, but then buy the next property that can make money for you as well. So we just keep recycling it back over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
It's the plan. So we're like hot for our next property right now. We wanted to get another one before 2022 ended, but we didn't want to rush it either. But I was like, man,
to try to make it happen, just because we want to get one more under our belt.
Because we want to be wise. Our goal was to get 3, but we got 2, and that's perfectly fine.
But our years now measured from Rubicon to Rubicon, so we don't basically.
So you definitely have time. Yeah,
you got time, exactly.
So what is another lesson learned? Like, is there anything else that you'd like to share for us, just regular people? We're trying to do this just like you. Any other tips that you could share that we would be able to learn from?
Well, it is a mindset shift because, we live in a society where it's like we need to save money and we don't want to spend it, or we want to be extra cautious and careful. But the system proves itself and it works. And then, as we were saying about keeping the money and the equity in our first long term, is like, why leave it there? Because I have the mindset like, it feels great not to have a mortgage. Like, let's just leave the money and just collect the rent. But it's like, that's just like free money just sitting there that we could use and invest somewhere. So it's like a different mindset shift that we have to like learn and, kind of get out of the old way of thinking. So that was one thing that I've learned, is to have a totally different mind shift and think like an investor, think like an entrepreneur, think like a business person instead of a consumer.
Yeah, a problem solver, right? Like we always talk about that in our community. Like, this is not just like it's a problem that we have to solve. So we just try to.
There's a solution. We just got to find it. And there's a solution out there.
100%. What I'm telling my kids, there's a number of things that, we homeschool too. So I love that you guys homeschool. We made the sacrifice from the very beginning as best as we could to homeschool. So our kids have never been in the school. And so one thing I'm teaching the kids on top of homeschooling is a lot of life lessons as well. And so my kids, I ask them, or not ask them, but I tell them to do something. And my kids do this. And, well, Daddy, I don't know how. And I say, well, you figure it out. And they said, but I don't know how. I said, hey, you're a Heiner. Heiners figure things out. Get in there and figure it out. So I give them the license. But the problems are going to come.
Yeah, and not to get overwhelmed, not to get scared, or not to give up when you hit those problems, and
have a community around you know,
because I was
of like-minded people.
because I was kind of like that when we hit those problems for Airbnb and all the things that were going wrong. I was like so distraught and just like, man, I don't want to do this. Like, but my wife being my backbone, she no, we're gonna, being
To
the,
me,
being the
there's like,
motivator, and
yeah.
she kind of got me out of my stump, out of my stupor, and I was like, let's get back on track, let's make this work. And
And
Because I remember that.
Mhm.
Go
while we
ahead.
were there in Ohio, going through all of this, there was a moment that we were at this hotel and I opened Zillow and I looked at our first property for some reason and I saw that that we had accumulated already $20,000 in equity in that house.
for our first one, right?
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
that's exactly when my mind shifted because it was like we're bleeding money at this
Yeah.
point, right? So I was like, see, this is the payoff. This is what we have to look forward, like last case scenario, like that's why I love real estate. There's so many way outs, exit strategies, and like last case scenario, we just sell this property, and we
Yeah,
flipped
we just
it.
flipped it.
You
That's what I
so
told her. I go, yeah, if anything, we'll just flip this house and sell it and get more of our money back. So
I
yeah,
love it. Now,
so
I know, Roberta, you were more like you were the gung ho ones, like we're doing it. And Sean, you were definitely dragging your feet. Like you were reluctant to come
I
along.
was.
And so, talk to us about Roberta and Sean, the dynamic of Roberta, you trying to help Sean to be able to realize, hey, this is something we can do. And then Sean, you realizing to buy in. So, Roberta, what was it like trying to get him to actually invest?
Well, she was persistent, but she wasn't like pushing me like she was lovingly, but she wasn't like, we're gonna do this. Like it wasn't like forceful, but she did it in a loving way, and it's like, and then, like, let's take this to the Lord, let's pray about this, let's be wise about this.
yeah.
Just watching more of your videos, like
Information, getting
informa-
informed, and the numbers,
yeah, it's
showing
like
the
this can
numbers.
work, the foundation's been laid, we're just basically trusting in what you've done in your experience in your program because you've gone through it all, and it was just a matter of trusting the system and how it works.
And our why, of course,
Yeah.
right? Like the reasons why we're doing this in the first place. Like our dream is to replace his income so we can be in full-time ministry, being biblical counseling or doing missions or whatever it is. So we want a freedom of time. If it's the Lord's will, if it's not, we're just happy with those two properties. It's okay. We're thankful. But that's what we're working towards
to be successfully unemployed so I can spend more time at home with my kids and family and help out with the homeschooling, get more involved with my kids, get more involved with the community. Like one of the things that I could tell friends and families, like any job, it's like they kind of dictate your life in a sense where it's like, well, you can take vacation if it's available, or you have to work this weekend. And it's like, well, I had plans this weekend. Well, this person called out, so now you have to work. So it's like they're kind of dictating my life, and it's like I don't really want this anymore for my life. And I mean, I'm thankful for a job and it's providing for my family, but
and
it's like
providing for
and it's
us
also
to get
providing
the properties.
for the properties.
Because we're qualifying because of his job.
So now
Oh,
we're
yeah.
looking at my vacation times too in a different way. Like, okay, do we take a vacation or do we take my vacation and use some of these days to go out and fly back to Ohio and to use it for businesses, purposes? So that's where we're different mindset.
Yeah.
Mind shift.
And it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
Like our marriage is so much better for it because like when we sit down the other day, we had our first meeting for our LLC and we did the minutes and everything.
Yeah.
And it was just like so much fun. It's like we get to do this together.
Because we're doing it together as a family, and then we're getting our kids involved, and they're going to be coming to Rubicon again with us. And like, because this is for them, after we leave, we're building a legacy, and we want our kids to be a part of it because this is going to be theirs.
You're 100% right. And you guys have my 100% permission to utilize, give them your access to codes, to all that sort of stuff, everything that we have at Master Passive Income. I want to see generational wealth from all of us because as we grow, the whole goal is to eventually become financially independent. With that, getting our time back, because that's the one thing we spend and never get any more of. And praise the Lord, you guys are using this hopefully to be able to do ministry for the Lord. I mean, how much, imagine, Sean, having 40, 50, 60 plus hours of your life back, not working for somebody else, and then being able to devote it to the Lord. So it is such a blessing. You guys, there's so much more we could definitely talk about. We're out of time. I am so excited that you guys are going to be at RubeCon as well. And so we'll be there. We'll be hanging out. We'll be bringing my kids. You'll be bringing our kids. My kids definitely didn't get to play with as many kids as they wanted to. So this year they're going to be more moving around, trying to, hang out with other kids and stuff like that. So it's going to be great having you guys there.
It's a family. It's just like that. We feel like, it's a family reunion, and we're going to look forward to it every year. And just, imagine like 10 years from now, the 10th RubeCon, oh my goodness.
I agree. And I'm praying, Lord willing, we're going to have many successfully unemployed people coming out of RubeCon. Like that's the end goal, is for people to have their goals met. So, man, Sean and Roberta, it's been fantastic talking to you guys. I love being able to work with you guys, and I love working with Christ followers as well. I mean, I love working with everybody, but being able to bless Christ followers, in praying together and being together, it's just a blessing. So it's so good with being with you guys.
I appreciate. Thank you so much for all you're doing. Yes, we're so blessed.
Cannot thank you enough. I just post things and I mark it, like Dustin Heiner, because it's like it's all first to God, but it wasn't for you
and all your hard work and dedication too. I just appreciate your time. It's very valuable, and we appreciate it.
And your wife too. Awesome. I gotta thank her, because she's the one behind it too.
She is the best. I have the easy job of making money. She's got the hard job of homeschooling the kids and keeping the house straight. Like she does everything. So, but yes, thank you very much. I'll let her know, Roberta, and it'll be great for you guys to hang out again and everybody see each other again.
Sounds great.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Dustin.
All right, guys.